Let me tell you something real, brother. Life and relationships aren't always about what you gave, how much you sacrificed, or how deeply you poured yourself into someone else. You could move mountains for a woman, carry her burdens on your back, and give her every ounce of energy you have, but still, it may not be enough to keep her attention or loyalty. And here's the hardest truth to swallow: it doesn't always happen because she is heartless or cruel. More often, it's simply human nature. When something feels too guaranteed, too permanent, too safe, people stop valuing it the way they should. Think about it. The things we take for granted in life are usually the things we assume will always be there. And the same principle applies to relationships. A woman can get so used to your consistency, your presence, your effort, that she stops seeing its true worth. She starts assuming that no matter what, you'll always be there waiting, ready to give. But when you finally pull back, when you stop orbiting around her world, everything changes. That's when silence becomes louder than any words you could say. That's when absence transforms into a mirror that forces her to confront herself. And here's what most men don't realize: that mirror is powerful. It doesn't just remind her of you, it reminds her of what she lost and how she may have taken it for granted. So, understand this: your strength isn't in proving yourself to someone who overlooks you. Your strength is in stepping back with quiet confidence, letting your absence speak truths your presence never could. The first thing she notices isn't really you, it's the sudden emptiness where your presence used to be. At first, she doesn't even frame it as missing you. Instead, it feels like something in her world is slightly off, like a rhythm that used to flow without her even thinking about it has suddenly gone quiet. Maybe it was the way you checked in on her during the day, those quick messages that reminded her she wasn't alone. Maybe it was hearing your voice late at night when her thoughts were heavy, or the comfort of knowing you'd always pick up the phone. Those little things may have seemed small, almost invisible when you were giving them, but once they vanish, the absence becomes sharp and undeniable. It doesn't immediately strike her as "I miss him." Instead, it comes across as "Why does this feel so empty?" Human beings are wired to notice what breaks routine, what shakes up stability, and women in particular feel this disruption emotionally. That void isn't just about losing a person, it's about losing the energy you brought with you. Presence is a kind of silent music, it fills the air even when no words are spoken. When that music stops, the silence feels louder than ever. And here's the truth: that emptiness isn't just about comfort, it's about emotional security. She had built her rhythm around your presence without realizing it, and when you step back, it feels like the foundation of her daily life has a crack running through it. That's where longing is born, not out of dramatic loss, but from subtle gaps in the places she never expected to feel hollow. After the emptiness sets in, the memories start creeping back, and this is where it becomes difficult for her to ignore what she once brushed aside. The mind has a strange way of replaying the past, especially when it no longer exists in the present. While you were there, your laughter, your kindness, even the smallest things you did seemed so ordinary to her. She may have thought, "That's just how he is," and overlooked the way you instinctively knew when she wasn't okay, or the way you made even the dullest days lighter. But the moment you step away, those same little things return with an intensity she never anticipated. They don't show up during her happiest moments. No, they arrive in the quiet spaces, in the stillness of late nights when her guard is down, when she's scrolling through her phone, or lying awake unable to sleep. That's when your voice echoes in her head, not as noise but as comfort she can't reach anymore. And here's the thing about memories: they rarely ask for permission before they come back. They intrude. They haunt. They turn from fleeting thoughts into heavy reminders of what she once said but failed to truly appreciate. At first, she tells herself it's nothing, just random thoughts. But as time goes on, those reminders grow sharper. Every memory, no matter how small, now feels like a piece of something rare slipping further away. This is when regret begins to take root, not in a sudden burst, but slowly, quietly, and relentlessly, until she can no longer deny that what once felt normal was actually special, and now it's gone. Once the memories start pressing in, her behavior shifts in subtle ways. She may never openly say she misses you, but her actions begin to reveal it. This is the stage where she starts checking without showing. At first, it might be as simple as her lingering a little longer on your profile, scrolling through old posts, or watching your stories just to see a glimpse of how you're living without her. She convinces herself she's just curious, but curiosity quickly turns into a quiet obsession. She may even ask mutual friends about you, disguising her interest with casual questions, pretending it doesn't matter. But it does. What she's really searching for is proof that you're still connected, that you're still there orbiting her life in some way. And when she doesn't find that reassurance, when she realizes you're no longer leaving breadcrumbs for her to follow, the anxiety begins to creep in. You see, most women believe they have time, that you'll always be there waiting in the background no matter what choices they make. It's an assumption built on your consistency and loyalty. But when that expectation collapses and she sees that your silence is unbroken, it creates a tension inside her that pride alone can't ease. Every unanswered question, every post you don't make, every absence of contact becomes a weight pressing on her chest. She wonders if she miscalculated, if she pushed too far, if she assumed wrongly that your presence was permanent. And that realization is powerful, because it shifts the control. Suddenly, she isn't certain anymore, and that uncertainty eats at her in ways she never imagined when you were giving her everything freely. When the anxiety begins to settle in, her natural instinct is to find distractions. She doesn't want to admit to herself, let alone to anyone else, that she's beginning to feel the void of your absence. So she throws herself into anything that might cover it up. Nights out with friends suddenly become more frequent. She might try new hobbies, new routines, even new people, hoping that something external will patch over the internal emptiness. And for a while, it may work. A night out filled with laughter and noise might temporarily mask the silence. Meeting someone new might feel exciting for a moment, like a bandage on a fresh wound. But the truth is, distractions fade quickly, and reality always returns. When she comes home after the party, the quiet walls remind her of what she's really missing. When she spends time with a rebound guy, she feels the difference, the way he doesn't hold her with the same intention, the way his presence doesn't carry the same weight. She notices that no matter how much she tries to bury it, the comparison never disappears. What she's really searching for in all these distractions is the feeling she once had with you, but nothing quite matches it. In fact, every attempt to replace you ends up highlighting your absence even more. That's the cruel irony. The more she tries to fill the void, the clearer it becomes who created it in the first place. This is when she starts realizing that what she dismissed as ordinary was never ordinary at all. And the harder she tries to deny it, the more obvious it becomes that she's chasing shadows of a presence she can't duplicate. This is the stage where the real battle begins inside her, the war between pride and feelings. On the surface, her pride tells her to stay strong, to remain silent, to never let you know that she misses you. She tells herself she doesn't need to reach out, that you weren't that important, that she can move forward without looking back. Pride is stubborn. It builds walls, convinces her to wear a mask of indifference, and makes her believe she's protecting herself by not admitting the truth. But feelings don't play by the same rules. Feelings don't care about pride, they creep in when she's lying in bed late at night, when the world is quiet, when no one is around to distract her. Those feelings whisper reminders of who you were to her. They remind her of the calm you brought into her chaos, the security you provided when everything else felt unstable, and the rare way you made her feel safe without her having to ask. The more she tries to silence those feelings, the heavier they become. Pride can hold them back for a while, but it cannot erase them. And eventually, pride begins to crack. That's when the first subtle moves happen. A random text out of nowhere, a like on an old photo, a casual comment that seems harmless on the surface but carries weight beneath it. It's her way of testing the waters, of seeing if the door she once shut is still open for her to step back through. She may frame it as nothing, but deep down, it's her emotions finally breaking through the walls she built. Pride bends to truth, and truth always finds its way out. Once pride begins to crack, something else starts happening that she won't talk about openly: comparison. Whether she admits it or not, she begins to measure every man who comes into her life against you. At first, she may not even realize she's doing it. Maybe it's the way he listens, the way he handles her moods, or the way he shows up or fails to. Every detail becomes a point of reference, and you become the standard, the silent benchmark. She remembers how patient you were when she was difficult, how you noticed small changes in her tone, how you paid attention without her asking. She notices that others don't do those things as naturally, that their presence doesn't feel the same. Even if the new man tries, he often falls short because what you gave wasn't just effort, it was authenticity. That kind of presence can't be faked. And here's where regret deepens. She realizes that what she once brushed off as ordinary gestures were actually rare. Rare things are never easy to find twice, and once they're gone, they leave a shadow that lingers. It's not that other men are terrible, it's that they're not you. And the more she compares, the clearer it becomes that the bar you set is higher than she ever noticed when she had you. This is the cruel irony of loss. Clarity only comes after absence. And now, whether she speaks it aloud or buries it inside, she carries the weight of knowing she let something valuable slip through her hands. That quiet recognition makes every future encounter feel like an echo instead of the real thing, and it reminds her over and over just how rare you truly were. This is the point where the ache of missing you transforms into something much sharper. It's no longer just about what she remembers or what she compares, it's about what she sees in front of her now. When she looks at you from a distance and notices that you're not bitter, not broken, not sitting in the shadows waiting for her return, but instead you're glowing, leveling up, building your life without her, that's when the pain cuts the deepest. There's something powerful about a man who thrives in silence, who takes his pain and turns it into growth. Maybe she sees you hitting the gym, looking stronger and more confident than before. Maybe she notices you're focused on your work, creating opportunities, surrounding yourself with people who push you higher. Maybe it's just the peace you carry now, that calm energy of a man who doesn't need validation to prove his worth. Whatever it is, it stings in a way she can't explain. Because it's not just about whether you cared for her, it's about whether you've outgrown her. That possibility gnaws at her. It makes her question if she still has a place in your story, or if she's just a chapter you've already closed. And nothing makes a woman miss a man more than realizing he no longer needs her approval, her presence, or her attention to feel complete. That glow she sees isn't just attractive, it's a reminder that you've taken the very pain of losing her and turned it into strength. And in her silence, she realizes that your light shines brighter without her than it ever did when she took it for granted. Silence has a way of teaching lessons that words never could. When you were still explaining yourself, defending your worth, or trying to prove how much you cared, she could ignore it, dismiss it, even argue against it. Words can be twisted, they can be brushed aside, but silence leaves no room for excuses. When you finally stop chasing, stop checking in, stop reminding her of who you are and what you bring, she's left alone with the echo of her own choices. That echo is powerful. It forces her to confront the reality she avoided when you were still around. She begins to realize that it wasn't you who needed to prove anything. It was her. She starts to see that the effort you gave was never something she was entitled to, but something rare you chose to give freely. And when you no longer offer it, the absence becomes undeniable. That realization weighs heavily because it strips away the illusion of control. Deep down, she understands that she may have lost something not out of fate, but out of neglect. That truth doesn't vanish quickly. It lingers, haunts, and resurfaces in the quietest moments, long after you've moved forward. The irony is that your silence, the very thing she may have once mistaken as weakness, becomes the proof of your strength. It shows her that you don't need validation, that you've reclaimed your energy, and that you've risen above the need to convince anyone of your value. And that, more than anything else, is what leaves the deepest mark. Because when a man walks away with quiet confidence, the imprint he leaves behind is one that time cannot erase.